Happy Friday, everyone. Jennifer Skowski here with your week in review. And I'm so excited to be in your inbox. It was a short week, but I hope it was a productive week nonetheless. I am excited to keep moving on with our conversation because we've dug into SEO. This week, it's going to be all about why is page speed important? We'll talk about that. But first, if you recall, last week we went over an overview of what SEO is and why it's important to your business, especially with your website. And if you forget, don't worry, we linked the video in the description. We've linked it to where if you needed to go back and see, okay, what is SEO to get the foundation, you can go back and listen to it. Now, for today, let's talk about page speed and why it's important. So if you think about it, when someone comes to your website and if they're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for your website to come up to either consume your content or buy a product or schedule an appointment, that's a problem. That leans into user experience, right? And making sure that we have a good and nice and snappy website. So when they search for something that brings them to your website, that relevant information is right up there where they're looking for, and they're able to either follow through with your call to action or whatever the next steps may be. But that's why it's important. So that's like number one, it's a user experience. We want to make sure that they're able to consume the info and it's able to come up when it needs to come up within a matter of seconds. And let's be honest. I mean, I know I may have adult ADD, but most people, you lose their interest. And that's where bounce rate can increase. Because if they're not finding what they need, they're on to the next. Don't give them reason to hit next. So that's number one point. Number 2 point is that it's about conversion. So if your site's nice and snappy, it brings them to that landing page where it gives them a clear call to action, whether it's to book a call or purchase, whatever. That is a conversion if they follow through. So your conversion rate is going to be plummeting if your site speed isn't nice and quick. The last thing is it does impact your search engine rankings overall. And over the years, Google has made that very clear that is an indicator on how your site is ranked. So those are 3 top reasons why you must pay attention to your page speed. If you're not sure, well, I don't know how long, do not sit there and click on your link and try to time it. Don't do that. There's tools for it. And I'm going to drop in one of my favorites to where you'll copy and paste your URL directly onto this GTmetrix site, and it'll give you a quick report on how you're ranking. Obviously, want to see everyone to be in the green and rating as A, but if it's not, let me know. Now, what are some of the key factors that can affect your page rankings? Well, one that we see often is is the large photos. If you have massive, large photos, that's taking the site time to load, that's a problem. So we need to optimize those photos. Now there are plugins, if you're a WordPress user with us, there are plugins that you can optimize those on the site, but it's always the best practice to optimize them off site and then upload them to your website. So that's number 1. Hosting environment. That's huge. And we could do a whole talk on just like why hosting providers are not equal. They're not. And so that's really important, because if you're not managing that or having just a hard look at your hosting provider, if they're not doing what they need to do, that could cause some problems. So those are just 2 of the top items that I see constantly that we're trying. Other than that, it gets into some of the code and setup on the screen that you'll need your webmaster or web developer to work in with you. But those are a couple of things that you can identify, and using that free tool that I'm linking to, it will give you that nice report, and you'll be able to send that to us or to your webmaster and to say, hey, I ran this report and I know page speed is important. Can you please fix this? And then they'll be like, how did you know that? So just a couple of points for this week, all about page speed and continuing our SEO conversation. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a great weekend ahead. See you next week.